non più tra I farfalloni amoroso, notte e giorno di torno.
Welcome to February, everybody. I am still going strong with our vlogging, and I will be vlogging February again. So welcome to my wrap up for February. It is the evening of the 1st, and I wanted to just touch base with what I'm reading because I am very, very close to finishing Daughter of the Moon Goddess. This doesn't have a cover because I've borrowed someone's review copy of it. I am like 50 pages off finishing, and this is about a 500-page fantasy novel, so it's a great one to be starting the month with. I am looking forward to so many books this month. In particular, I'm really looking forward to starting Leviathan by Scott Westerfeld. That is one of the books on my TBR for the month. This will be a really testing month to see how I go with actually sticking to a TBR. One of my goals, as I've mentioned, is I really want to do better in getting through the TBRs that I'm picking for myself, so I'm really hoping to get to the end of February and to have read the majority of my TBR that I've picked for February. But I also have had quite the serious number of review copies land on my doorstep, and you will be seeing that, or have seen that, in my latest book haul. There's also still some that I'm trying to catch up on and get back through that are now released, etc. But we'll just see how the month goes and where I feel like taking things. The only other thing I will flag is I talked about Luminous in my book haul by Mara Rutherford, which is my book club's pick of the month, and I am obviously intending to read that as I got a copy when they announced it, so add that onto the TBR for the month, and I'm sure I will be getting to that one because I want to be able to discuss it at book club. But yeah, can't wait to see where this month takes us, and I must remember to not be quite so harsh on myself because February is the short month, so we are literally working with fewer days. But let's see where we go. Hello everyone and welcome to the 3rd of February. I have now finished Daughter of the Moon Goddess. I actually finished it on the 2nd of February, or whatever, the next day after when I last vlogged last thing, which was only a couple days ago, and yet I can't remember. Daughter of the Moon Goddess was amazing, so I finished that within a handful of days, actually. Surprising because it is a 500-page book. It was quite long, but I found it very, very readable. It was really easy to just smash through. I thought the pacing was just spectacularly well done because there's so many peaks and troughs in the whole story with like super high intense action scenes and lots of fights and different villains that the main character is fighting, and then at the end there's sort of the main goal that she's working towards. If you don't know what the book is about, it is based on Chinese mythology. It is done so well. It really is something that makes you grateful that we have more diverse fiction on our shelves now, because it's the brilliant stories like that we just weren't getting when it was white dominant writing, so it's amazing. Anyway, loved it, and it was really easy to keep going because of this lovely pacing. It wasn't just a big 500-page slog towards one event. So that was a 5-star read easily for me, no doubt about it. Could be up there to rival Only a Monster. I haven't really decided which one I enjoyed more. I think Daughter of the Moon Goddess was a lot more complex, but anyway, that was phenomenal. And so I have moved on to my first book off my TBR for February, which is Leviathan. Which I don't currently have with me because I'm video editing at the moment. It has illustrations throughout it, which I actually didn't realize. I didn't realize it was illustrated throughout the book. I thought it was just a really well done illustrated map. And it's younger than I thought it was going to be. It is sort of more in the middle grade vibe, but I'm about 80 pages into that, and that's about 440, so I think I'll get through that relatively fast. So that's sort of my update as the last few days have gone by and where I'm at now. So I'm going to get on with some more video editing now and hopefully read more of Leviathan tonight. Actually, one more thing I did want to talk about is I'm very close to finishing Outlander, so Written in My Heart's Own Blood, which is book 8, which I started reading at the start of January, and I knew that it was going to take me a long time because they are like 50 hour audiobooks. And so I'm on I'm on like chapter 118. They're so big, but it has been so traumatic. This is definitely one of the most traumatic Outlanders of the series. There's been so many points where I have been brought to tears whilst listening to it, and just like an unusually high number of grotesque surgeries that Claire performs. Where I'm at now, I'm not giving any spoilers away, but yeah, there was a really full-on amputation scene that was quite hard to read and listen and get through. But yeah, so this has been like tough reading this next book, but I'm getting a bit anxious for where Diana Gabaldon is going to leave book 8, and I'm really glad that book 9 has come out now, and I'm caught up, or will be when I read it. But I'm also nervous for what that means when I finish book 9, because it means I'll have to wait, like everyone else has, years between books being released to find out what happens. So I'm nervous. February, it's the afternoon, it's a Monday, and I owe you some updates. Feels like it's been a good few days since I've given you an update, but I'm pleased to report that I have finished Written in My Own Heart's Blood, which is very exciting because look how big this book is. This book is 1,300 pages. So I was reading it on via audiobook because this scares me. This size book is terrifying. And it was just incredible. It's the 8th Outlander book. It's just a beast. And I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. Absolutely nothing to complain about. These books are just gold. I always feel like it's such a cop-out that I've rated, I think, all but one of these 5 stars. But honestly, I enjoy them so much. So that was super satisfying. I think that will easily be the longest read for the year for me. And I'm also really, really close to finishing Leviathan. I'm like right at the end here, so I'll give you further updates and thoughts when I get there. And I've started listening to The Nobleman's Guide to Shipwrecks and Scandal. I think that's the title. I'm like only about 10% into this one, so still got a long way to go before I give you updates, but that's where we're at as of today. The next day and I finished Leviathan, ended up rating it 4 out of 5 stars. It was pretty good. It was much younger than I expected. It had middle grade sort of characters and vibes, and I didn't really know what I was expecting. I actually thought maybe young adult, maybe adult, probably not adult, but anyway, I still enjoyed it once I sort of got over the initial disappointment that it was middle grade. I don't read a lot of middle grade just because I find it lacks depth, but on the whole, I thought it was really enjoyable and like such a unique and inspired version. Maybe inspired's a bit strong, but it was really crazy reimagining of a steampunk version of World War I with a few little tweaks to historical events. Follows the main character is like the son of the Archduke who gets assassinated at the beginning of World War I, which starts the event. They did have children, but he's an imagined person, and that's not the story of what happens to their kids. And it's also about a girl pretending to be a boy so that she can get in the Air Force. And he's obviously from the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and she is British. And depending on which countries you are from, you have different like beliefs. So it's like Darwinism versus clankers, and it depends on how you like use your technologies. So he uses a lot of technology that is like proper steampunk, sort of Star Wars 80 vibing things, like literally things that are called walkers that go around on like their little chicken legs, the mechanical machines, whereas the Darwinists, which is what the girl is, they like fuse mechanical machines together with fabricated or I guess lab-grown organisms. So they fly like a blimp that looks like a whale and has it sounds crazy. It is crazy, but it was really fun because Scott Westfield really just pushed the boat out in this one and tried some really wacky ideas, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where book 2 goes, because I feel like there was a long plot line that was being set up that's going to continue in book 2, and I'm really curious to see where the story goes from there. But yeah, interesting. 4 out of 5 stars. Definitely not a book for everyone, but if you are a steampunk fan, not one to be missed. Additionally, that means I'm now starting Dressed by Iris, which is the book club pick of the month for Harlequin. This is huge. I've been procrastinating reading this all afternoon, so I'm going to try and read a little bit now before I go to bed. Hello friends, we are at the 11th of February now, and I wanted to do really short sharp check-in, just to basically say I've not got a lot to say. I have not read a lot more of Dressed by Iris since we last spoke. I'm this far in, which is about 70 pages. It's been a weirdly busy week, and it's going to be an even busier weekend. I actually have my graduation ceremony for university this weekend. And we're going out for dinner. That's on the Saturday, and on the Sunday we're going out for dinner to celebrate, and it's currently Friday, so I'd love to say that I'll have so much time on the weekend to read this and just like get through it, but I don't think that's realistically going to happen. So anyway, that's where I'm at with reading. I am 60% of the way through The Nobleman's Guide to Scandal and Shipwrecks, which is just so good and so stressful to read. So I am making good progress through that at least. Once I finish Dressed by Iris, I definitely think I'm going to go back to the TBR and try and knock maybe a couple of those off before I go back to review copies. This is, I think, my biggest priority for February, but we'll see. I did get a parcel today, which I am thinking I'm going to maybe hold off opening until I do my next book haul. In the meantime, I was debating whether I actually attempt to put away all my books from my last book haul, as I've yet to do that. These are all still here, and a lot of them are sequels, so it should just be a case of, finding the corresponding book on the shelf and slotting it behind, and then a few others actually finding a place for. So I think I might have a quick crack at that now, but if it proves to be too hard, then I'm going to down tools and read or do something. So I thought I would show you what I've actually done. I've just separated all those books into piles. So we've got my fantasy pile that doesn't contain diversity, or technically only a monster might do in terms of author, but I've already read it, so that's fine. It's just going to be located somewhere in the fantasy section on my shelf. Then I have my historical fiction pile, no diversity there, and diversity is sort of the main ticket card that I have to get these into my TBR jars. So currently none of these are TBR veterans, none of them are arcs, none of them are presents, none of them are, well, sequels, yes, but they're already in the jars, and then, diversity and the challenges jar. So diversity is sort of the main thing they'd be able to fit into. All of these are already in my jar. I've already dealt with that when I bought them, thank God. So I can just put those into the shelf. This is crime / mystery. These are the diversity books I have, which are my books from work, and this one I've already read, and I'm going to be donating, so I'm not going to put that on my shelf. So that's the categorization sort of split up that we've got. So these are going to be the hardest to fit in the shelf, particularly because none of them are sequels, so I need to find space for 6 more books. I could cheat and put them in my other room, but I don't have any room in my other room, so I'm going to try and figure that out now. Have I finished reading Dressed by Iris? No, I have not, but I need a different genre right now. I don't know why, but I just don't want to sit down and read historical fiction. I think I just burnt out that genre currently, so I'm actually going to start Luminous, which is the book club, my other book club pick of the month. Oh god, so many book clubs. Anyway, but I'm going to start reading Luminous and see if I'm vibing that a bit more right now. I've just, I want to read Dressed by Iris, but I'm continuously not picking it up, so I think I need a change of scenery. February, and my update for today is that I finished reading The Nobleman's Guide to Scandal and Shipwrecks. I think that's the title. This book, and it was really good. I ended up rating this 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I love the narration on these books. I find them quite, I just find them well done. I really enjoyed it. This one was very anxious though. This is not a book to read if your anxiety is high or bad, or if you're overly stressed. The main character does have, I think, general anxiety disorder as well as a touch of OCD, which is explained in the author's note at the end. and it is very present in every sentence of the book with a lot of self-doubt and questioning. So it's really, really full on, but it's also really, really good. And I love seeing the way that Mackenzie Lee tied all these characters together, and that we got to go and revisit Monty and Felicity when they're so much older now, and that was really cool. So if you are reading the series with the Montague siblings, then it's definitely worth reading all three, is all I can say so far. I have now moved on to the next audiobook, so I started reading The Life of Addie LaRue. I'm so excited to read this and see what all the fuss is about, because this book has been so popular. And other than that, I'm hoping to finish Luminous tonight or maybe tomorrow, so I'll keep you posted on how that goes. Morning everyone, it's early on the 18th of February, I think now, and I've finished Luminous. I actually really didn't think that I would get around to finishing that last night, but it was pretty easy to read and I wanted to get to the end, so I did. It was a 4-star read for me. I really enjoyed it. I think there's a lot of mixed reviews on Goodreads about this, but I think this is perfect for a Mara Rutherford book. I have read Crown of Coral and Pearl, that duology that she wrote before this, and this is very similarly structured in the same sort of writing style and plot expectations. There's a love triangle that's like an almost love triangle, but one of the boys involved is quite toxic, which is the same in, like, they're an evil toxic, and they're the bad character, and that's the same in Crown of Coral and Pearl. And I think that makes it really exciting and fun, because you're following along with the main character who's always strong. She writes really strong women. This one is a little bit naive, but I think that all made sense in context of the story, as that character tries to understand where she's being manipulated and kind of see that there's both good and bad in people, but sometimes their bad actions aren't forgivable. And I just really enjoyed the magic of this. I love the cover, I love the setting. I'm really excited to see what Mara Rutherford writes next, because I just think she has such a way with spinning short, simple tales that have some sort of really interesting magical element to them. I think it's really fun. So yeah, that was great. I really enjoyed it, and I definitely recommend it. It's the evening of the 19th. I can't actually remember what the date is. I think it's the 19th. And today has been a really lovely day. It's been really hot. This whole week in Perth has been like 37 degrees Celsius every single day. And last week it was also similarly hot. So I think we're all just really over the heat. And tomorrow is going to be a cooler day. It's only going to be only going to be 33 degrees Celsius or something, so I'm looking forward to some cool weather tomorrow. So I wanted to update you on what I'm currently reading. I have started reading a review copy, which is The Verifiers. This one I'm reading on my Kindle, and it's coming out at the very end of February, so this has been on like my calendar, so to speak, to get it read, and so I am 35-40% of the way through that. I started it yesterday, so very easy read, very easy. It's a murder mystery, and it's all about this company called Verify or something like that, and their job is to investigate the people that their clients are dating online, so through online dating apps, to check that they're legitimately looking for a relationship and that they're not just cheating on someone or not real or something like that, which I think is incredibly topical, especially given the popular Netflix Tinder swindler thing that's come out. I haven't watched that, but anyway, very topical book, and it's sort of like a cozy murder mystery. So that's really interesting, and I'm keen to read more of that. I'm hoping to finish that tomorrow. I actually really want to push to get that done and dusted. And then I will be going back to Dressed by Iris. So I've taken a break from this week, and I'm that far through. So I'm hoping that in a perfect world I'd also finish this tomorrow so I can spend the last week of February reading my TBR. But this is quite a surprisingly heavy book, but also actually quite easy to read when I actually just get into the swing of things. I have been enjoying this. I just needed a break because I realised I read 2 historical fictions back to back, which I think I've talked about before. And so after Luminous and The Verifiers and The Nobleman's Guide, I feel like I've had a nice genre break and I'm ready to go back to this one. In terms of what's left to read on my TBR is actually most of my stuff, and I really don't want to end this month with this many unread. So I've still got the Letters from Berlin, The Vanishing Deep, Clap When You Land, Dragon Blood Ring, and Sisters of the Wolf, and I am going to decide now which order I want to tackle these in. I'm kind of thinking I'm going to do Clap When You Land because I know it's written in poetry, so it's really short and I think it'll be a really quick read, so I think I can tick that one off the list. I desperately want to read everything on my TBR for February. Honestly, I'm genuinely really excited about all of them. So anyway, that is my update, a bit of a lengthy update for you, but just wanted to let you know where I'm at with things. I'm going to dive back into the Verifiers now and get that done. Yeah, just in a very motivated reading mood right now. So it's like 9:15. I've got a little bit of time before I want to go to bed. It's a Saturday night, so let's get some reading done. The Verifiers has just got like so damn good. This book I was like enjoying up until the 40% mark. It was a good book and it was a good mystery and it's been good fun. And then this morning I've reached the 60% mark, and so much respect for the main character. Claudia is the main character and she's one of 3 siblings, but oh my god, this is like actually creeping up there to like Dial A for Aunties kind of level of good. It just makes such good writing, and the way that Claudia backs up her sister, who is a bit superficial and comes across that way, but the way that she backs her up when things go wrong for her with like such sibling loyalty was just like, had to put the book down and give her a clap. So am thoroughly enjoying this, and I'm really looking forward to what I'm sure is just going to be like a spectacular conclusion to the book once I get further into it. guys, I wanted to give an update. I'm in the car and the sun's really in my face there, so just deal with that. But I wanted to say that I have finished The Verifiers. I finished that yesterday. It was really good. It was a 4-star read. Really cute and fun mystery. Loved the Chinese representation. Was very similar to the vibe in Dale for Aunties, with the way that the chaotic family and like difficult expectations are met, and that was interesting how it was wrapped into the mystery itself. So I'm now at least a quarter of the way through Addie LaRue, and I've gone back to reading Dressed by Iris, which I'm now halfway through, and so hopefully I can finish both of those by the end of the month. I want to finish a couple of other books after Dressed by Iris, so I will keep you posted on how that goes. So brief update is that I'm this far, I'm halfway through the Dressed by Iris. I'm kind of struggling to get motivation for this one. Like, I am enjoying it, but at the same time it's been like a weird amount of effort to get through. In any case, I'm actually pausing today to pick up a new book, and not one off my TBR, but I will be reading The Goblet of Fire, and you can see that this is a very well loved edition. This was our original family edition, so thankfully, in a fortuitous turn of events, I actually picked up a fresh secondhand copy a few years ago because I knew that we wouldn't be able to reread the book from that one anymore. And so the reason I'm reading this is because my boyfriend's actually reading these for the first time, and so he is up to book 4, which is when I'm going to jump in and join with him and read along. And I'm really excited to actually like read the books because the last time I reread them, I read the illustrated ones, or however many of those are out so far, and before that I was listening to audiobooks, so this is the first time in a while that I'm actually dipping back into the books themselves, so I'm really excited. It's the 26th of February. I finished Dressed by Iris a couple of days ago, actually. I just forgot to, I just hadn't had a chance to update you. It's been a really busy weekend. Dressed by Iris was a 4-star read for me. I'm actually yet to write my reviews. I haven't really put too much thought about how I felt about it, but I did enjoy it. I just found it a really frustrating reading experience. I think that's possibly on me with how busy I've been. It was very long, but I did think it was a really lovely, gentle and harmless historical fiction that was set in the Great Depression in Australia, and I really, really loved the setting. So I've since moved on to Clap When You Land by Elizabeth, I need to look this up, Acevedo. Not enjoying the poetry style writing. I'm finding this really frustrating to read. And as it is, there's 2 days left in the month, so I'm trying to look forward now and hopefully finish this tonight and pick out my next read, but I'm not sure what. Struggling with this book. Struggling. Look, I'm getting close to finishing, and I've accidentally broken the spine, which is very upsetting, and I'm struggling. I don't know what it is. I think it's the poetry style. I don't know. I just want to be done with it. I'm not gonna DNF it at this point. I am going to finish it, but oh my goodness, this was not as fun to read as I thought it was going to be. What a busy weekend it feels like it's been. But I have managed to finish Clap When You Land. I rated it 3 stars. This reading experience was just a pain. Sorry for the shaft of light. There's a lamp ruining the vibe. But anyway, struggle guys. The poetry style of writing in this really threw me, and I found it really like just a bit like jilting to read. That's not the right word, but jarring is the right word. I liked the story, and I think if this had been written in prose for me, this would have worked a bit better, but just in poetry it didn't, and I was just getting frustrated with how much I wasn't enjoying the reading experience. So I'm going with the 3 stars. I'd be interested to read Acevedo's work if her other work is in prose, but this isn't a book that I would like happily gift to other people if I didn't know that like the poetry style was a vibe for them. So yeah, really powerful story, really interesting story about 2 sisters sharing the same dad, and sort of a complicated double life going on there, and a really interesting take on like privilege and race in this book as well, which I thought was done really well, but you know, to a limited degree, considering I don't know if it was limited by the poetry, but nonetheless, 3 stars from me. Not, you know, jumping for joy here. I have 4 books left on my TBR actually, and it's obviously the 27th of February today, so I have 1 day left to read it. I put it to a vote on Instagram, and everyone has chosen Sisters of the Wolf, which is actually my challenge book for this month. So it's going to be an epic challenge. It's 10 p.m. now, so I'm probably not going to do much more reading, but it's going to be an epic challenge tomorrow to see how far through that book I can get. And even if I don't finish it in February, that's okay, because I'll continue reading it in March and it will still get read, which is kind of a bit of a win anyway. So let's see how tomorrow goes. We made it to the end of February. I'm so pleased with how much I read. Not exactly with what I read, but how much I read in February. So that's fantastic. So in total, I think I read 8 books. Let me do the count and the tally. Let's see. I read 9 books. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my gosh, I've read 9 books. That's the most I've read for a few months. That's really exciting. So obviously I did actually end up finishing Sisters of the Wolf. I didn't think I would. I thought that was hoping for too much, but I did, and I didn't even have to stay up too late. I stayed up late for me, but it wasn't even 11 p.m. So yeah, that was really good. So let's go backwards. So Sisters of the Wolf was quite good. Not a lot happened, but I liked the purpose behind the book, which was the author's intention to sort of expose and show, or imagine what her ancestors and the ancestors of Canadian people, so the First Nations people, might have lived like during the Ice Age. And I thought that was done really well. So looking at it from that lens of just simply having an interested look in how it might have worked and the ways that they might have interacted with each other was really amazing. But overall, the actual plot line itself was nothing mind-blowing, and it wasn't exceedingly exciting. However, there was lots of action and lots of things happening. So yeah, it was a really interesting read. So I went with a 4-star read because I just quite enjoyed visiting that book and those people in that time. I thought that was absolutely fascinating. So in total, I read Daughter of the Moon Goddess, Written in My Heart's Own Blood, Leviathan, A Nobleman's Guide to Scandal and Shipwrecks, Luminous, The Verifiers, Dressed by Iris, Clap When You Land, and Sisters of the Wolf. Well done me. It meant that I didn't get to 3 books on my TBR, which I was bummed about because I actually wanted to really read all of them. So that was Letters from Berlin, The Vanishing Deep, and the sequel to the Blaze Roth games. So if I get time going forwards, I will try and revisit them. I have some reading plans going forward, which I'll talk about in my March wrap-up, to try and help me get around to some more of these books. But overall, I'm really happy about it. The best book this month was by far The Daughter of the Moon Goddess. Even over Outlander, that book was just incredible. It was genuinely amazing, and I think it'll be in my top 5 at the end of the year. I just can't recommend that book enough. I think the biggest disappointment was Clap When You Land. I just really struggled with that one. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with that reading, so thanks for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I hope you enjoyed reading in February with me. I am 3 books ahead of my reading schedule. I have read my challenge book for February, so that's a tick to read something off my Kindle. And overall, I feel like I'm still hitting my general and main goals for the year, so I hope to see you around in March for my March wrap-up in a month's time. I'm really excited about the books that I've got coming up that I'll be starting today. So other than that, I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.
Alla gloria mia